This is a King A.D.S music production.
What's up? I'm back with you as I love to be here to connect with you and everything like that, and just try to share something that's positive, dig deeper, to just try, to just give it an effort. That's all this is really about, to give you something that has some substance rather than just some rah-rah, as I always say, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just giving it my shot to put my 2 cents in on some things, or to just share, really. It's not like I'm the end-all be-all source of all things and all knowing. I stand on the shoulders of giants just like everybody else. You know what I mean? I can't take credit for the things that I've learned all the way through, but whether it's experience or reading, studying, so on and so forth, I just go with that. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to share a little bit of what I've gathered, or what I can gather and bring to you at the moment in time when I'm trying to do these videos, man. So I really appreciate you if you do watch these, man. It means a lot to me. You know what I mean? And all you are wonderful people out there on your mission, on your grind. And things always come up. And this time it's reprogram your mind, right? So let's shine on it. So real quick, we've touched on this before, in a few other videos, in different pieces and everything. So I challenged myself to come back and try to direct myself towards the topic a little bit more specific, right? It's probably not going to be that long though, because all I'm really going to say is, okay, so we have the reprogramming of the mind where we receive some sort of gratification from the environment that we're in. So that becomes our perception of what life is as fundamental state, right? So whatever we're exposed to, take in and communicate with and use as our spiritual or vocal or a verbal currency or whatever, right? We kind of exchange those things throughout our communities. So the gratifications, though, do they put your life in a healthy position, or do they put your life in an unhealthy position, right? And so if it's a healthy position, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Keep on trucking, right? But if it's on a negative perspective side, then yeah, we start to notice some things. Sometimes people don't notice those things, but self-awareness of that would be the beginning point of trying to reprogram the mind, is to realize that something's not right. Why are you not getting the result that you would desire from going at these situations the way that you have been? So obviously where this has gotten you is not quite desirable, or isn't working for you, air quotes, you know what I mean, and all these kind of things. So you want to change that and reprogram the way that you come at the scenario. So inside, I feel is like where it starts is the voice inside of your head saying things like I am and I will and I can? Or is it saying things like I can't, I won't, and all the negative aspects? You know what I'm saying? So are you getting gratification from negative aspects or positive things? Are they reinforcing you? There's always greatness inside of every person, and there's the worst inside of every person. But what side are we focusing on? So when we have these positive aspects, it motivates us, it makes us grow, and that's where we want to be. And when we have the negative ones, it makes us stagnant and kind of regress. So we want to change. And the negative has a sting, whereas the positive memory has a warmth, and it lasts with you and resonates, and you'll never forget. And that's kind of like what I'm doing now, is I'm sharing the positive warmth with y'all rather than just the negative, what I'm saying, the things that sting. And we all do have them. We make mistakes, we bumble and trip and fall, right? So, but we get up. So the negative reinforcement is something that's undesirable, like touching a stove when you're a child. And you will always remember that that was a bad move, for it burnt you physically. So these things that we intentionally or unintentionally experience in life tend to leave scars in other ways, right? So what we will have to do is learn how to connect our actions to certain results, right? And that's kind of like what our brain does already. It picks up these patterns and it elaborates on these patterns. It extrapolates these patterns and gets the logistics, and then says, hey, for survival, hey, maybe that's not a good thing to do. And so whereas some people are really keen to that kind of instinct, and maybe that's why they will resonate with the positive more naturally. Some people's radar may be off, or maybe it's just a bit dingy from the atmosphere that they're around at the time, right? And so with that, they will have to try to look at their surroundings and have a contrast and distance, a basis of comparison, to see light into dark, light and the shadow, right? To see the difference between the two. And then from there, make assessment to say, okay, I have to admit to myself first that these things are destructive, and these things over here, on the other hand, are constructive. And I'm going to have to gravitate more towards the constructive things now. So if the area is constituted of negativity primarily, or people that will bring you back down into a negative space, not trying to expand, they don't want you to reach and learn, they just want you to keep it simple so misery has company. Those will be things that a person, or anyone, would have to start to realize and kind of distance themselves from that. So if you're trying to do positive things and then people down it and stuff, you're definitely in a negative place. You know what I'm saying? People should encourage you to do the things that you love. People should encourage you and support you along the way, rather than just try to pick you apart. There's no reason to pick you apart. You haven't done anything to anyone. So, so you have to see these differences. Does the environment itself, like, does it not give people an opportunity, like, to grow and expand? Does this other area have those resources, like resource wise? Does an area not have resources versus have resources? So also, those are issues, as a collective, that we probably should bring up to other powers too. But as we can see, there's a comparison and contrast. So you want to be where you can hone your ability and skill what do you call it? Potential. There you go. Potential. Your potential. This thing still works. It still works. All right. I'm just, trying to dig in there and pick out something. So yeah, so that's basically, just touching on it again. I've touched on it in pieces in other videos, but it's all about what you take in. So have you learned everything that reinforces a negative structure in your life? If even the information that you've learned, do you have to take in new information? Just keep learning, right? This is all part of it. It's so weird how learning always seems to come back up. And I kind of hate saying it because it's almost unavoidable. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get too cliche or too repetitive, but it does come back down to that. Your journey is your own, and you can't get there with the crowd. You'll have to do a lot of things on your own, in your own time, in your own space, in order to grow and make the proper progress in the amount of time that you need to do it in. So yeah, reprogramming your mind is not easy. It's easier said than done. I wouldn't want to get on here and act like, oh, all you got to do is this, and this. Some things, old, like they say, old habits die hard. You have to actually desire the change. You have to want the change to come. These things have to be like, you can't see a future without the change. You know what I mean? Hopefully change doesn't come at a doctor's visit or a jail, or, anything that's, insurmountably damaging to somebody's life. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully it come at a time where they could just step back, have some insight, and just feel that something's a little out of place, and then explore that. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean. Like, if you're around negative people, you probably would just brush that off instead of explore it. But why don't you just explore it instead? Listen to your inner voice tells you something's out of place. So check it out. You know what I mean? And when you do, it might take you into other things that you learn, which gives you more of a compass, and eventually you set you to actions. The actions lead you to purpose. The purpose puts you on your way of practice, right? So these practices is what we do, and we have to do these things. Everything we try to do, we have to do every day. And it's practicing better habits. Do we get the things when we can, or do when we want to? You know what I mean? We need to get to things as soon as we can, rather than later. If you can get to it now, do it now rather than later. Often, like I said in the beginning, do you say things like I won't, or I can't, or like things like that? So you got to reprogram that to I can, I am, and things like I am wonderful, I am worthy, I am good, I am powerful, I am intelligent, I am beautiful. You can do this. You know what I'm saying? Don't knock yourself. Don't say I'm not like them. I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not beautiful, I'm not rich, I'm not, all those things, all they ever do is just tear you to shreds. They just negatively reinforce you, and you go out into the world feeling like an ant. You feel so small, and not knowing that even the ants have such a strong purpose. You know what I'm saying? And so, while they stay on a focus and purpose, we have to do the same thing. Go with the flow of the nature instead of against it. And the nature often will tell a person to look into this. Where they say it warrants more study, right? That's the thing they like to say, and I believe in that. I believe in that. That's like a scientific method, even. So whoever you are, I hope that you can get that, because even putting it in that perspective is still like a scientific method. Like, you like look at it and then look a little bit off or feel a little bit off, and you like, yeah, it seems like it makes sense, but something's not right. I got to look into it first and see if the results the same way forward and backwards. You know what I'm saying? Before I could come to a conclusion. And so, before just taking something in as doctrine and following it as doctrine, do your own research, take your time, especially with yourself, because you're so worth it. And if anything I could express is that you're so worth it. And I'm the same way. I had to learn so many things about myself. Man, I continue to learn about myself, and I continue to work on myself. You know what I mean? So it's like I said, it's easier said than done, but nevertheless, we got to move forward. You know what I'm saying? And try to do a little something better each day. We don't have to change everything all at once, but just keep trying to put one foot forward in the right direction, and surely you'll get there at the end of your path. You know what I'm saying? Instead of looking at the path like, wow, look at how far I have to go. Don't worry about that. Just worry about your pace of breathing and your walking, and enjoy the sights along the way. You know what I mean? So with that, I like to leave you with that. So that's about, reprogram your mind a little bit more. You are what you eat. Always remember that. You know what I'm saying? On all aspects. And let's keep it growing. Let's keep shining, man. Like I said, drop me a like, drop me a subscribe. Come check me out on all my different pages and links on social media. I'm not really too big on things like Facebook and Instagram. You know what I'm saying? I'm more interested in doing things like this right now, and like just trying to make sure that I have some sort of a physical, real presence that y'all could actually see, and that that I have something, like I always say, that I have something up here between these two ears. You know what I'm saying? So no matter what you see me doing, the core of who I am, and what the type of things I could think about, and where my brain can go. And so you see that there's another brother or another individual who's just like you, in that same mental affinity, or even physically the same, and we have a connection all the way through and through. And so that way we live by example. And I'm just trying to do the best I can. This ain't like, I don't think I'm special or perfect or nothing, but I'm doing what I feel a human being first should do, for me, so man, I appreciate anyone who come along with me, and much love to you, and let's keep growing. All right, y'all, love you, peace.